Thanks for tuning into our podcast. We love having you here, and it's our mission to bring you all the latest and greatest tips, skills, and know-how to make you the best that you can be. We know that you have it in you, and we're going to show you how. Now, let's get started.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back, of course, to the Lucas Chat Podcast. I'm your host, Kennedy Lucas. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back, y'all. Thank you. So we're live here for Swanky Studios for the Lucas Chat Podcast. If you guys haven't heard of us yet, please be sure to, of course, follow our social media. And don't forget to follow our streaming platforms, whether it's iHeartRadio, Spotify, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. We are everywhere. And also on the hit radio station of Swanky 93.3, the radio station. We're also going to be doing our light show and uploading this episode to there later on today. And also for my GGC fans, please be sure to listen to us, of course, as Grizzly Talk Podcast. Also on the same media platforms for audio. And also on the hit radio station of GTP 94.6, the radio station. So welcome on in. Hopefully you guys are staying safe with this today. And ladies and gentlemen, I know I like to talk about exciting news on the Lucas Chat Podcast, and we're going to do more of that this week. I did have to, if you guys listen to the previous podcast over at Grizzly Talk Podcast, I let my GGC community, I let them know that unfortunately, with GDC's podcast, we're going to be low levels of production over there for GTP for a minute because I mentioned that, there's the Grizzly Talk Podcast is a podcast where we talk about all things GGC. And unfortunately, due to COVID-19, we're not on campus, so not really much is happening for the Grizzly Talk Podcast. So, rest assured, a lot of people were, emailing me and asking me, hey, are you okay? Like, are we getting shut down? No, Grizzly Talk Podcast is not canceled. It's not getting shut down. It's just the production level might be a little bit low than what we expected because we don't have much going on campus, unfortunately. So, and I mentioned this in that podcast where, if I don't have much going on campus, then I can't really perform a good show for you guys. So that's why we've decided to have low production level for the GTP for a minute until we're back on campus, until we get things rolling again. So rest assured that it's still existing. Of course, it's not it's not going anywhere. A lot of people were kind of nervous about that, and it's just I had to clear that up on that show, and I wanted to clear it up on today's show. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I am pissed all the way off. And you guys, and it's good to laugh about it, about how pissed I am, because I like to entertain my people, my Lucas Nation, my K.L.P. worldwide. But today, this is another rant podcast, and I'm sorry, I have to do it today. Everyone's talking about it. Everyone's talking about this thing that happened Monday, and I agree with a lot of people who have had their opinions about this troublesome epidemic thing that happened on Monday. So, let's get on to it. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, of course, I'm talking about the murder of 46-year-old George Floyd. Now, I am really, really pissed because this is, and again, and I'm going to say some harsh things on the podcast. Damn it, this is my show, so if you don't really like, and most people like what I got to say, but if you're one of those people who do not like what I'm about to say, you might as well click off of this podcast right now, because I am just very disgusted. I'm very angry, and as a black man in America, I am very pissed off. So let me tell you why I'm pissed, because this is the third murder that I've heard of our black communities getting murdered from cops. This is the third murder within the month that we've been either hurt or died and shot and cold-blooded, and there is no goddamn justice for this thing. Now, you guys know about it, of course. George Floyd was somehow getting arrested. I don't really know the specifics on how he was getting arrested. This fucking police officer put his whole knee on his neck, and George Floyd, he begged to get him off his neck because he could not breathe. He later died in the hospital because of that. So let me just read you the whole description. Of course, sponsored by USAtoday.com. You guys can read all about it on USA Today. But government officials and Minnesota locals alike expressed the outrage after a video surfaced showing a white police officer kneeling on the neck of a black man and ignoring his plea to help until first responders put him unresponsive on a stretcher. Of course, the man was identified as 46-year-old George Floyd, later died at the local hospital, according to police. The chase echoes the death of Eric Gardner, again, another black man who died while a white officer restraining him ignored his pleas that he cannot breathe. The four officers, and get this, ladies and gentlemen, this is where I'm really, really mad, because get this, officers are killing us and they're getting away with it. When is it okay in America to where an officer can shoot down an innocent black man, cold blood in the street, and they can get away with that? When is that okay? So, the four officers involved in Monday's incident were fired Tuesday. Fired. So you mean to tell me that the police officer killed George Floyd? And this video evidence will show you killed the man on video. He smirked in the video too. He smirked in the video like he was proud of it. And there's no consequence but termination. Well, damn, termination don't mean shit in America. I mean, you got to get terminated, not arrested for this murder, not sentenced for a murder, but just fired to where you can go find another job somewhere else. So the attorney of Floyd's family, Ben Crump, of course, called for their arrest. The officers have yet to be officially identified, but the attorney's Tom Kelly told the Associated Press that he's representing Derek Calvin, the officer seen with his knee on Floyd's neck. Derek, you're an attorney for this murderer, so congratulations, Derek. Kelly did not further comment because Kelly knows about it. Kelly knows that this officer, Derek Calvin, is a murderer. So that's why he's not going to comment. Now, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know too much about lawyer work, but Kelly knows it because he knows that he's murdered. You killed the man and it's seen on video. So Benjamin Crump, of course, the attorney that's representing Floyd's family, we did it. Your calls to Jacob Frey led to the termination of all four officers. Now call DA Mike Freeman. And again, I wish I could do more. This is in Minnesota, so I can't really do too much from here in Atlanta. But you can now call DA Mike Freeman. It's a 612-348-5550 and tell him to arrest and charge these officers for murder. This is murder, ladies and gentlemen. I don't care how you want to spin this. This is flat out murder caught on camera. So I don't know how much. Now, I've seen this video, and this video is very, very, very disturbing. In the video, it's a video taken by a bystander circulating on social media. Shows Calvin, the officer, the racist guy, the bigot who killed this man. And I don't care if I say that on the podcast. You should flat out kill this man. With his knee pressed on Floyd's neck while the man repeatedly says he can't breathe. And you can see it in the goddamn video. Floyd repeatedly pleaded on Calvin, at the point crying out for his mother, saying everything hurts. I don't know how many times we in the black community have to die and get hurt for people to see that this is not okay. And this is why I am mad at America right now, because this does not make any sense where the white man or the white officers can shoot us down, kill us for no apparent reason. Now let's go back to the murder of Ashim Albury, and I hope I pronounced his name right, but we all know about that. And I talked about it on the podcast where the young man was, walking, jogging, and these two other officers just shot him down. Because he was exercising, he was getting a good jog in. We all want to go outside and jog. I jog. It's hard to stay inside when you're quarantined, when you're mentally, quarantined and you can't take it anymore. So this man just goes outside, just wants to jog, just want to get some good exercise. Dead. For what? Because he was black. That's the problem I have with America, is that a lot of us we're not justifying and getting justice for black people dying for no apparent reason. Now, I can't say here, and I'm not going to say it on the podcast. I'm going to say it on the podcast because I saw a post about this, and this is true too. And everyone should stay woke for sure, but we as a black community should know that and people think all white people are racist. People think all white people are bigots. That's not true. Not all white people are like that. Not all black people are ignorant. But you still got a handful of them to the effect where they act crazy, and then it's looking funny here in America. So I can't I'm not gonna sit here and say, because I have white friends, I have black friends, I have Indian friends, I've got Indonesian friends, I've got Asian friends, I've got them all. So I'm not gonna sit here and say, yeah, all white people are racist. That's not what I'm saying at all on the podcast. I would never say that. But there are still some racism in America, and one thing that kills me is that it is 2020. We had a hard year in 2020, starting out with this COVID-19 shit. It sucks. But it's 2020, and we're still on the same shit about racism. We're still on the same thing. If you go back to Trayvon Martin, we're still in that era, and that happened years ago. Because you've got these people who are murdering our people for no apparent reason. Now, what I think we need to do is stay woke. I did see on I forgot his name, Riley Hewitt. I think he's a famous comedian, and I don't think, even though white officers are killing us, I don't think we should not kill back, because it's not going to solve anything. I think, in my opinion, it's not going to solve anything. I think we need to come together as a country, at least, and we all need to realize that it's 2020 and we got to stop being racist towards each other. We've got to stop the bigotry. We've got to stop the ignorance here in America, because we're supposed to be this united nations. And right now, most people are not feeling that way right now. Most people that are in the black community are probably scared to go outside now, because you have to look over your shoulder. And I'm like that too. And I'll say it on the podcast. When I see a cop drive by, when I'm driving either from work or from an event, I see a cop, I'm like, okay, I better drive straight, because I ain't trying to die, I better be careful, because if I even fuck up one thing, if I make a wrong turn, police officer's gonna shoot me over and kill me, that's how I feel, because you got officers who are corrupt. Honestly, I think they need to upgrade the policing field. I've heard in Gwinnett County they're hiring for police officers right now. I think we need to evaluate the whole policing system throughout the whole America. And I think we need to reevaluate the qualifications of this job of being a police officer, because you've got a lot of crazy people who are cops right now that are killing a lot of people for no apparent reason. So I honestly think that we need to up that standard of being a police officer. And just like you have standards to join the military and army, that should be the same thing as to pertain to being a cop, because you cannot be mentally insane. That's what I think this officer was. Mentally insane and a psychopath, and killed this man straight out, blood straight in the street. This doesn't make sense, ladies and gentlemen. We have got to do better in America. That's my piece, y'all. I know this podcast is not how most people would like to hear me talk on the Lucas Chat podcast, but this is how I feel, and I really want justice for George Floyd. Honestly, arrest these men, give them some sentencing, and make them do some hard time in federal prison. All right, so that's going to do it for the Lucas Chat podcast. Hopefully you guys stay safe. Stay indoors, drink water every 15 minutes, and I hope you guys enjoyed this little podcast. I'm sorry I had to get pissed off on the show, but, that's what we do here on the Lucas Chat podcast. Until then, stay swanky, and have a great one.
Loved what you've heard.